Hey everyone, this is Shane from Assorted Meeples, aka Corrupt Overlord, bringing you a rules video for King of Tokyo. This is a fantastic game where you and some friends, who may like each other or may not, depending on how competitive you are, take the roles of various monsters who want to, surprise surprise, dominate the city of Tokyo and destroy everyone in their path. While competing with the other players, you can find victory in one of two ways. You can either score 20 total victory points through rolling the dice, taking and holding Tokyo, or getting bonuses from some special bonus cards, or you can do it the old-fashioned way and murder every other monster on the board and be the last one standing. So to summarize the turn order, a player rolls the dice, resolves the dice, can choose to either enter Tokyo if it's open or cede it, depending on the situation, buy the power cards, and then they end their turn. In a game with 4 players or less, the first person who rolls a claw at the end of their turn and cannot get rid of it must take the city of Tokyo. However, the benefit to that is they also gain a victory point for taking the city. Now, if they hold the city for an entire round and start their next turn in the city, they get an additional 2 victory points for every time they manage to do that. For games with 5 or 6 players, Tokyo Bay also gives you a victory point for taking that space, and 2 points for holding it at the beginning of your turn. Now, suppose the rest of the table doesn't take too kindly to your owning the city of Tokyo. When a claw is rolled, the player has the option to cede the city after taking the damage. Once the player in the city has chosen to stay or cede, the player in Tokyo Bay also gets the same options. So both can stay, one can leave and one can stay, or both of them can leave if they so choose. Whichever player on the outside who was throwing the claws then moves into the city and takes their point. When you're in a 5 or 6 player game, if one or even both of the monsters holding Tokyo die, so you get down to 4 players or less, you shut off Tokyo Bay and just go back to using the city. On the other hand, if the monsters in Tokyo kill one of the outside players, reducing the game to 4 or less, whoever is in Tokyo Bay is immediately moved to outside of the city. Any monsters in the bay or the city have the same restrictions and same results. Their claws attack everybody outside the city in the bay. Their rolls do not affect each other. Also, any attacks from players outside, like a claw, will affect both of the monsters in the city and in the bay. At its heart, King of Tokyo is a dice rolling game. Unless you have a special card that gives you the ability to take more rolls or do re-rolls, you will get to roll these black dice 3 times. Each time after rolling, you can choose what you want to keep and what you want to throw back. At any point while you're doing those 3 rolls, you can switch dice out. If you decide early on to go for the 1 points, and then decide later you don't want to, as long as you have 1 roll left, you can put them back in your active die pile. At the end of the 3rd roll, whatever your dice are showing is what you have to work with. These green ones are bonuses that you can get via special cards in the deck. We'll get to that in a minute, but for now we'll just put these aside. Each side of the die face will do something different. You have the ability to score points. To get a point, you need 3 of the same number. This is what we like to refer to as number salad. It doesn't do you much good. However, with a few changes, that is good for 3 points. 3 2s are worth 2 points, 3 1s are a single point. It's worth noting that each additional die you roll with the same number is worth 1 additional point. So in this case, that would be 4 points. For 2s, it would be 3 points. 2 for the initial 3 2s, and then 1 additional point for the additional 2. So with this die, you get energy represented by these green cubes here, which can be used to buy a variety of beneficial cards, the cost of which will be on each individual card. claws are how you attack your opponents. If you are outside the city of Tokyo, each claw does a damage to whoever holds it. In this case, 2 claws from Mecha Dragon would do some serious damage to the Space Penguin. For monsters who hold the city of Tokyo, when they roll a claw, that does 1 damage to every player outside the city. Also brings us up to hearts. Since there are a lot of claws, you are going to want to be able to heal from the damage. Each heart allows you to heal 1 point of health. The exception is if you are in the city of Tokyo, you cannot heal using these dice. After the dice rolling and the city of Tokyo has been resolved for a turn, the player then can use any energy they have to buy one of these helpful cards, or multiple if they have enough. The cost of each card is in the upper corner. Some will be relatively inexpensive, like the army here, and some of them that are relatively terrifying will tend to be a little bit more. The cards do very different things and have different mechanics that they explain to help you towards your path to victory. There are a few special types of cards you should be aware of. Any card that has discard on it, like Army here, means when you buy it, you must use it immediately. And whatever effect it has takes place right then. It is a one-time thing. Any other card will have keep, which means you're allowed to use it throughout the game. There are a few special cards that call for giving you extra dice, like the green ones here, or tokens, which can do everything from extra damage to rerolls. Smoke Cloud here is an example, and in the instructions it will tell you to take the extra tokens when you buy the card. Depending on what they do, you may have a limited amount that you can use, or if you have one of them that is mean to the other players, like the Poison Spit, they actually keep those and keep taking damage until they get rid of them. For normal cards like this, you'll want to pay attention to the effect. In this case, for Nova Breath, every time you roll a claw, every monster at the table is affected, even when you're not in the city. That makes that a particularly powerful card, and one that could be a game changer. Which is why it costs 7, whereas a simple discard for points like Army only costs 2. Now, if you see these and decide you don't like any of them, or you don't have enough energy to get the ones you want, and you don't want other players to have them, you can spend 2 energy to wipe the board clean and take 3 new ones. Now, whether you buy a card and then flip up a new one, or wipe the board clean and flip up 3 new ones, whenever a new card is revealed, that is available for you, the current player, to buy immediately. As long as they still have the energy to do it, they can buy those cards. Once the current player is done buying cards or wiping the board, the turn moves on to the next player. So to summarize the turn order, a player rolls the dice, resolves the dice, can choose to either enter Tokyo if it's open or cede it, depending on the situation, buy the power cards, and then they end their turn. And there you have it. Whether you decide to claw the crap out of everyone coming against you, or sit outside the city like one annoying player we know, rolling endless streams of points on the dice while everyone is powerless to stop it, you have your options to victory to be the King of Tokyo. If you like what you just saw, please support us by hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel for more great gaming content.